That's Nick.
And that's Joseph, and today we're here to talk about Arkansas, or as some like to call it, Arkansas.
Sure.
It's the directorial debut of actor Clark Duke. It was supposed to premiere at the 2020 South by Southwest Film Festival. As we all know, that didn't happen. So now it has been made available on digital and demand as of May 5th, 2020. That's Cinco de Mayo, courtesy of Lionsgate.
What is the movie about?
So, first of all, you didn't watch it.
No.
Someone couldn't be bothered. Clark Duke, you probably know him as the one that is being misgendered by Chevy Chase all the time in Hot Tub Time Machine.
Ooh, no.
Okay, well, when you look up a picture of him, you'll recognize him, I'm sure. He has adapted this 2009, I guess you could call it a neo-noir, perhaps slow burn, one that never quite reaches a simmer. It's a very straightforward story, but one that ends up feeling very convoluted.
Well, what is this? Like, what's the basic story?
It's about Liam Hemsworth plays Kyle Ribb, and he gets promoted to be a cross-state drug runner for some man named Frog, who's this drug kingpin he's never met in Arkansas. So he goes and meets his new cohort, Swin Hood, played by Mr. Duke, and then as they are transporting a large amount of drugs, they are waylaid by a man named Bright, played by John Malkovich, who's dressed as a police officer. Turns out he works for Frog, and he says, "You idiots aren't doing this right, so you will work for me, who's working for Frog." So they're on the bottom rung of this drug kingpin's organization.
He's not lying. He does work for Frog.
He does work for Frog.
Okay.
So he lives in this, Malkovich lives in this nice house. He puts these two in these like shantytown trailers. Clark Duke meets a woman named Jonna, who's this beautiful woman played by Eden Brolin. Guess whose child she is?
Josh Brolin?
Mm-hmm. But of course, she bonds with this quirky person who looks like a very young Stephen Root and gets pregnant. Meanwhile, they get their assignments from a woman named Her, played by Vivica A. Fox.
Not the musician.
Correct.
Unfortunately.
It's in order to, in case they're ever caught by the cops, they really can't give her identity. She tells them to go do this pickup. They go do it, but then there are some strings attached when one of those people from that pickup follows these two drug runners back. This person waylays John Malkovich and tortures him, and they kill each other. And then Kyle and Swin realize that they have no way to correspond with Frog, so they're basically just in this waiting period as they figure that out. Meanwhile, we learn that Frog is the man played by Vince Vaughn, who owns a pawn shop nearby, and then we have various flashbacks to how he became the person he was and how he sold his business to these two swarthy twins, and etc., etc. Things come to a head. One of them dies, and then our hero relays that you can't quit being a drug dealer.
So I did read the plot, and I was bored. And listening to you say it, I'm bored.
I know, I'm sorry. That's the plot, though.
But, so, a couple questions. How does Liam Hemsworth look?
He looks fine. I mean, he always looks good, right? He's a Hemsworth. He's usually just kind of the least charismatic of those brothers, and he actually comes out like a bright, shiny penny in this.
Oh, good for
I thought
him.
he was just fine.
Also, Vivica A. Fox.
I like Vivica A. Fox.
Why?
And, when
In this film?
In this film, she's the only one that kind of has any personality.
What's her hair like?
Her hair looks fine, actually.
Oh.
She has some interesting hair pieces in some scenes, but
You know she has a wig line.
Yes, I do. And I thought she looked fabulous, especially compared to...
Oh, so she's like glamored up in this film.
No, not exactly. I just thought she looked really good.
Oh, good for
because
her.
when she gets a good role, like she's somebody that really sinks her teeth into it, I feel. And she's not about, like, what was that movie we watched with her?
Soul Food?
Green Card. No, we just watched that too. But it's like, what's it called? Green Card Warriors or something. Do you remember?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
I think it was direct to DVD. Like, she is not afraid to work through dry spells. I'm glad that they gave her. I think both her. If we're talking about things I liked, Hemsworth is fine. I feel like it would have made.
What did you like? Yes, go ahead.
feel like it would have made more sense for him to have.
That's not what you like, though.
considering I had low expectations for him generally, I was more or less pleased.
Okay,
I just
what
felt
else?
he should have had more to do.
Okay.
Like maybe he should have had a love interest. Granted, it's based on a novel. I liked Vivica quite a bit. I thought Vince Vaughn was quite good. I could have used a little more of him, especially in the first half of the film. And that's about it. It's 2 hours long, just about. It
Sounds like it.
for the material that it is. It could have been punched up a bit. Things I did
Listen, well, yes, things you didn't like.
Mr. Clark Duke, I think he should have cast somebody else in the role that he's playing, but that's just my opinion.
Why do you think?
He's just a little too unappealing, even as this like smarmy wise ass that he's playing, the plucky comic relief. For like even somebody like this very loosely drawn Jonna to like fall head over heels with. I don't know. And also John Malkovich is doing the same thing he did in something like Red or Burn After Reading.
Okay. Listening to you talk about it and reading about it, I got like Ozark vibes. Is that no?
It may be only in that because we're in a similar geographical area.
Okay.
You're here on the map, I guess, but.
So you'd recommend Ozark over this?
Oh yes. In fact, I was doodling, watching this film. So I was trying to think of what other films named after states do you know? And it turns out there's quite a bit, but the only one I could think of that I knew that's notable is Hawaii.
Oh yeah, I can't think of.
But there's a whole bunch of them. There's a Wyoming. There's a lot, but most of them I think are notable fixtures in the filmography of those who made them. So yeah, I don't know. Arkansas.
What would you give this film?
2 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
You were expecting more. I mean, it's not bad. It's got some things in there that are enjoyable.
Okay.
It's just
Do you have anything else to say?
no.
All right, bye.
Bye.